Welcome to the PlantRight continuing education video. During this video, we will cover the following questions. What is PlantRight? What are invasive plants? What is PlantRight doing to address them? And how does this affect you? In 2019, Plant California Alliance became the new home for PlantRight. The program had previously been housed at the environmental nonprofit Sustainable Conservation. As longtime partners in the PlantRight effort and as advocates for California's nursery industry, Plant California Alliance was a natural fit to be PlantRight's new home. PlantRight's mission is to promote the use of non-invasive plants in California gardens and landscapes. We are working across the nursery industry supply chain in a collaborative and voluntary fashion to discourage the use of invasive plants and promote the use of safer, non-invasive alternatives. The PlantRight project was started in 2005 by a diverse collaboration of leaders from the nursery trade, nonprofits and environmental groups, government agencies, and the plant science and academic communities. Together, this group acts as PlantRight's steering committee, ensuring the development of a practical program that allows everyone's voice to be heard while creating realistic, actionable solutions. PlantRight approaches the ongoing use of invasive plants in a fashion that is collaborative, voluntary, and science-based. So, what are we talking about regarding invasive plants? By definition, invasive plants are foreign to a region. Although it is worth noting that not all foreign plants are invasive. Invasive plants also spread on their own, and they do not need extra irrigation, soil amendments, or any other intervention from humans to survive. Because they spread on their own, often into areas where they are unwanted, invasive plants can cause measurable damage, whether financial, environmental, and/or to human health. So why does choosing non-invasive plants matter? When invasive plants are introduced to a landscape, they tend to crowd out the existing plant communities and affect the wildlife that depended on them for survival. In the background photo, we can see highway ice plant, Carpobrotus edulis, taking over a coastal dune. Infestations such as these require a lot of time and expense to remove. Invasive plants, especially invasive grasses, can also contribute to the increased intensity and frequency of wildfires, such as we have been experiencing each summer. These wildfires are a risk to human health as well as financial and environmental security. Aquatic invasive plants are another costly problem. They can completely clog waterways. For example, dense mats of water hyacinth, Eichhornia crassipes, can stand in the way of commercial and recreational boating, as well as deprive other aquatic life of crucial sunlight and nutrients. In the bottom photo, you can see Pampas grass, Cordaderia celoana, invading a crop field. This shows that invasive plants are not only a conservation issue, but also an agricultural one. The presence of these invasive plants often result in negative impacts to environmental balance, financial security, and human safety and well-being. So what traits do invasive plants have in common? Abundant and broad germination, or a lot of seeds that easily spread far and wide. Rapid establishment and growth. You know the phrase, "they're growing like a weed"? That is what this is referring to. They also outcompete native plants for resources such as water, nutrients, and sunlight. Invasive plants also tolerate many different soil types and weather conditions, including extremely harsh ones. They also have superior resistance to local pests and diseases. Here's an example of an invasive plant you might be familiar with: Pampas grass. What we are looking at in this photo is not an invasion site. Instead, we are looking at the growing grounds of a wholesale plant nursery in the Central Valley of California. This is often the source of a new invasion. Here we are seeing that plant further down the supply chain at a retail store. According to PlantRight's 2017 statewide survey, Pampas grass was for sale at 4% of all retail nurseries in California. You can imagine someone unaware of this plant's invasiveness, purchasing it, planting it in their yard, and it taking off. Pampas grass's feathery plumes have even become a trending wedding decoration. However, that beautiful feathery plume is also a large part of why this plant is such a prolific invasive species. Each plume contains around 10,000 seeds, and the seeds can travel up to 2 miles in the wind. This allows Pampas grass to spread to neighboring hillsides, and then to cover and take over surrounding natural areas. This is problematic because Pampas grass plants are very flammable. They do not provide good habitat or forage for wildlife, and like many invasive plants, they are difficult and expensive to remove. Already, Pampas grass is widespread in California, covering regions of the Central Valley, Bay Area, and South Coast. And it is expected to continue spreading. In 2003, a study at the University of California's Cooperative Extension revealed that almost half of the invasive plants in our state were brought here as ornamental plants through the horticultural supply chain. While one might want to point fingers at the nursery trade for this, some plants like Pampas grass were introduced over 100 years ago, before their invasive tendencies were known. If we are going to address this issue in a meaningful way going forward, you can see that it is vital that gardeners, landscaping professionals, and the nursery industry all be part of the solution. So what is PlantRight doing to address the issue of invasive plants? First, we identify invasive plants using the Plant Risk Evaluator tool. We call this tool PRE, or PRE for short. We locate where the invasive plants are being sold in California through our spring retail nursery survey. Using this data, we are able to make informed recommendations regarding invasive plants. We educate with programs such as this and through providing free educational resources on our website. We collaborate with the nursery industry through our retail partnership program. And last but not least, we communicate with our network via our social media and our quarterly newsletter. Let's start with PRE. The Plant Risk Evaluator tool was developed by researchers at the University of Washington and the University of California, Davis. It is used to predict the potential of a plant becoming invasive in a particular region. Evaluations are performed by plant experts through a rigorous literature review, and then the evaluations are reviewed by other stakeholders. PlantRight uses these evaluations to rank plants as low risk, needs more research, or high risk. Plants on our priority invasive list have either a high-risk PRE score and/or are listed in the California Invasive Plant Council inventory. Our annual survey informs the rest of our programming. The survey allows us to keep a pulse on the retail market for invasive plants in California, so that we can know which plants are being sold where and how frequently. Our most recent survey was in 2017. It was our 8th annual survey, where we surveyed over 300 stores in 45 counties. All of this was with the help of 172 volunteers, mainly comprised of University of California Master Gardeners throughout the state. They have been a steadfast partner of PlantRight from the beginning of our survey efforts. Our plant list is based on the results of the annual survey and by fine-tuning by our plant list committee, which is made up of industry experts. Full plant lists can be found on our website, plantright.org. The next facet of our program is our retail nursery partnership. It's this kind of engagement with the nursery industry, such as building awareness and shifting demand toward regionally appropriate, non-invasive plants, that PlantRight is working to accomplish in its collaboration with landscaping professionals, avid gardeners, and those in the nursery trade. For more information on these materials and the PlantRight program, please visit us at plantright.org. Thank you for joining us in this effort.